Welcome to the Weekly Social, folks. Today we have Charles Vincent with Triple C Roofing and Construction, as well as Priscilla Pfaff here today. We appreciate you guys supporting our channel, tuning in. We're still pushing 2,000 plus views a week, so hooray. Thanks, guys.
Good to be here.
All right, thanks for coming out today, Charles.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So great to have you. And so we just wanted to kind of get with you and figure out, okay, how did you get in the roofing business? How did that all come to?
Oh, that's a long,
story.
Cliff Notes.
The Blinkist, what is that? That takes the books and makes it just a sub, I don't know.
Well, anyway, that's a good story. I don't think anybody ever starts out being a roofing contractor unless your father did it, and there's a few companies out there like that.
Sure.
Roofing is a very popular business right now, and the way I got into it is the day after my 40th birthday, I got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning, and from the company I worked for, and said, I don't have a job anymore.
Oh.
And so that was kind of devastating, and I had a wife and a young child at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I need to do something. So I knew this guy that knew a guy that never went to college and just slept till noon every day and had bad habits. But he started his own roofing company and started killing it. And it was right before Hurricane Ike. He did that, and after Hurricane Ike, he was way in the he was in the right place at the right time. So I saw that, and I started selling a few roofs on the side while I was looking for another job.
So what was your background? What were you?
Food service. So I supported companies that went into restaurants that sold them their chicken, their proteins, and all the products that you would get that could be commercially manufactured.
Right.
Going into restaurants, like a breaded cheese stick or something like that, or a breaded chicken wing.
So you already had the knack of selling and the customer service and making sure everybody was taken care of.
Absolutely. I was born to do it. And so, anyway, that job that they called and said I don't have a job anymore, I thought it was my dream job, and I was going to retire there. I had all those illusions of grandeur. So, but anyway, I needed something to support my family, and I remember saying a prayer. I said, God, if I could just make enough money to make the note for the new house, as well as pay the bills and take care of my kids, that would be enough. So, boy, did the faucet open. That was 17 years ago, and it hasn't really stopped since.
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessing.
One
That's
door
cool.
closes, another one opens.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason. So it's.
That's cool.
I wish I knew a long time ago what entrepreneurship meant, and it's. I work 3 times harder now than I did when I worked for anybody else, but it's more satisfactory. It really truly is.
Helping people.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping people all the way around. You're helping your employees. You're helping your family. You're helping the people you're dealing with and getting them taken care of and their families. And
sure.
What a cool thing.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
But I love it.
It is.
For sure.
It is. There's a lot of spinning plates when you run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then, just like my industry, your industry, you've got a lot of competitors.
A ton of competitors. And so, going back 17 years, I thought there was a lot of roofing contractors out there. There's more today.
Yes.
And so, some of the problems that the industry faces, there's no barrier to entry, and I don't think there ever will be. Our company...
So what does that mean? Wait a minute,
There's
Charles.
no license, correct?
No license. It's a volunteer license, but what that means, Priscilla, is that you can get out of jail one day and become a self-proclaimed roofing contractor the next day.
So you need an LLC.
An LLC or DBA of whatever it is, but through experience, I realized that it needed a license, and so the acronyms are Roofing Contractors Association of Texas, and there's also a Houston Area Roofing Contractors Association. So anybody that's looking to hire a roofer needs to basically say, hey, what are these people's credentials? Do they have the right insurance? How long have they been in business? Any complaints against them?
Wow.
That sort of thing. And
What
so
a great. Okay, so say
and
it
it's all
again.
voluntary.
How do you go and you've got 3 different bids from roofers,
Right.
okay, and you want to verify the company itself.
As far as how to vet 'em.
Right.
Mhm.
So repeat what they go to find that.
All right. You can go to arcat.com or harca.com. I think it might be .org, but and research it. I have
Okay.
on my business card, because I need to tout it as much as possible, the logo right there.
Oh, bravo.
on the-
Show the camera.
Okay, and so,
So
that's
that
on your
right
website
That's
too.
that's on the website and whatnot. And so, anyway, there's a lot of roofing contractors that are members, and there's more growing every day. I don't mind losing business to someone that has also voluntarily said, let's go and, make sure we got credentials.
Competition's good.
To me,
Right.
But there's bandits in every industry.
there's
Right.
bandits in every industry.
Sure is.
And so as soon as a weather event happens, like a hurricane, the news will always put someone, oh, I gave the guy a down payment and
Yes.
he hadn't called me back.
Yes.
So,
That's horror stories because
That's-
you don't
yeah.
have that kind of money to put out there and
No.
and do that.
A lot of companies are storm chasers. When
That's
the
right.
storm hits, they're in a hotel room
that's exactly right.
working it.
Wow.
It's
Wow, that's great information.
We try to differentiate ourselves from some of our competitors that are, I mentioned about all the new roofing companies out there, but we try to differentiate ourselves. We have a dedicated repair department. So inside our networking, I hear people talk about trying to get their roofing contractor to repair something. They don't have the people, the personnel to do that. And so we get a lot of business that way.
Good.
And so if it can be fixed, we can fix it. And so,
One of the hurdles I run into from a real estate brokerage side is, let's say we do an inspection, the inspector says, hey, the roof's kind of iffy, we need to get a roofing company out to look at it. One of the challenges that I run into, and I'm not, and I'm just
Yeah, be
telling you
honest.
what I run into, is most roofing companies, they don't want to fix a roof, which is exactly what you're talking about. They want to sell a roof.
Right.
So if that roof's got another 7 to 10 years on it, they walk out and go, oh, this thing shot's got to be replaced tomorrow.
Right.
But nobody's going to, if they're spending their own money,
yeah.
knock 10 years off of their roof or
Right.
5. You know,
Right.
they're going to buy it when
Right.
they, like an air conditioner. And that's the
Yes.
other ones that I run into.
No
So
one
it's-
ever saves for a roof.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and they don't replace it until it's broken and they have
That's
to.
it.
Yes.
Because it costs so much.
Yes.
Exactly. And I totally understand that. And there's ways to patch a roof and make it last until it really is time to get a new roof. And so most of the time, our repairs go from $250 to $500.
That's very reasonable.
And so, and in a rare occasion, if it's rotten decking and you've got to cut stuff and you got 2 guys that are going to be there all day, $800 or $900. And
I mean,
that's it.
I see the roof jack boots, the flashing. I mean, and a lot of that's maintenance, and a lot of people don't realize that if you maintain your roof, I don't know, I'm not a roofer, but every so many years, you need to have somebody come out, inspect it, and 9 times out of 10, that little bit of maintenance will prolong it as well and stop you from getting leaks, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Another way we're going to grow our business here, and we're going to start on the commercial side, just offering maintenance packages.
Okay.
And there's always seems to be a need for that, but it's just, that's, we're not hitting the home runs here. We're hitting the singles. Let us come clean up the gutters, get everything. If you have trees, I'd rather have the trees and do roof maintenance than not have the tree. Just clean off the valleys. My service technician today, as we speak, is going to a house up over in the Bracewood area where there's lots of trees, and they put gutters, and the screens on it a little high, and the leaf is backing up there, and it's starting to rot out the fascia. And we put that roof on 10, 12 years ago, and she always calls me when there's a problem. So,
Yeah.
you know,
That means they trust you.
yeah,
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, but it's so with that sitting in there, that's creating the rot on the boards, even though that's not. I mean, that's the facial boards, right?
yes, it's the fascia boards, and so
How does that affect the roof?
well, it's water has leaching characteristics, and wood is fibers, and so as it rots on the outside, it'll start working its way back inside, and so those
Okay.
are the pictures that the lady sent me, and so it's obvious what it is, but we still need to go out and show face and say we need to either do nothing. That's always an option. It may look, it may be a bad looking picture, but still, you've still got a lot of life in there. So I think he's doing a little construction, making a patio better. And so the contractor ripped it all off and saw that. Oh my God, what do we do? And so
It makes it dramatizes it a little more than what it should
and so
be.
she's all nervous and upset.
Alarmist is what we call
Just a
them.
little bit.
Which we get some of those with inspectors.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so-
we do.
So, but
Oh wow! But there's so many things to look at and think about, and to have you as a resource is a great thing. I mean, I know I referred a friend over to you that thought that their roof was not in good shape, and I mean, I think in 2 or 3 hours you were over there looking at it and letting us know what the thing issue
Right.
was.
I just like Richard said, that you get called out a roofing contractor and they say, "Oh man, the thing's shot. You need a new roof."
Mm-hmm.
Roofing and AC is the two worst that I see out there. There's great companies out there.
Oh, 100%.
But and I understand that go-to-market strategy, but I just choose as a company policy. Let's say, hey, what you're concerned about can be fixed for X amount of dollars, and we can kick the can down the road just a little while longer. And this is what you have to prepare for if you buy this property or if you stay in this property, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And so we get more business from saying deferring immediate business and then saying, "Oh, you need to do it." It's worked out
You told them the
wonderful.
truth. That's right. I
It's
treat
like
all
when
my
you take your
clients-
car in, you don't have to have all these things done. This is what's needed.
I treat every transaction as if I was buying or selling a house personally, and that's how I guide my clients. And sometimes they heed to my advice, sometimes they don't, but at least they know.
Right.
At least, and they're making an informed, educated decision.
I think one of the other things I've asked you, Charles, is, you get the different bids from different roofers, and there's different types of shingles and things that are offered.
Absolutely. Again, going back to the driving force of a lot of competition.
Yeah.
Another thing that I decided to do is GAF is a shingle manufacturer that
You said GAF?
GAF, General Aniline and Film is what that means. I've been doing business with them for years, but I never ever knew what that meant. It's a 100-year-old plus company, but they stick with it. It's publicly traded in the Standard Industries, and so they have a Timberline shingle, which is by far in the United States the #1 shingle.
Okay.
Everybody else is running a distant second. Their competitors would probably say something else, but they market it such. And so, maybe as much as 7 or 8 years ago, the trend of putting solar panels upon the roof was happening, and so people
That's a hot topic today.
it's a hot topic, and I don't, from a realtor standpoint, I don't know how you resell that, and so, but
It's a challenge.
So
Charles
what I
on the
do know
top
is you got 600 or 700 holes in your roof, and you put a solar panel array, and
Well, and also your insurance goes up.
I would think I didn't know that. Wow, but
because that's more stuff
All
to
those hundreds
take
of
care
holes
of.
that you just talked about.
They're gonna leak
that
at some point.
That raises the risk. And insurance is just a transfer of risk.
But GAF, and I've been watching the technology for years. And last year I went to the IRE, which is the roofing convention, that happens in January, February every year. And the hot topic was, in every booth I went to, is the solar guy and the roofer guy are going to be the same person. And so what GAF has done to make that happen, and it's still in transition, but they're creating an integrated power shingle, which is powered by the sun. And
Is that what this is?
that's what this is right here. This is a sample model, but the actual shingle itself is 5 foot long, and they hook in succession this way, all the way up, and
Is this, are we looking at the bottom or the top of the
this is the top of the shingle right here.
Okay.
And so it integrates in
So it
with
slides in another one on top and another one.
another one on top. This is the nail line, so you would nail this across here, and then you have a elastomeric piece, adhesive piece that sits down on it, like this, and it goes all the way up.
But these are 5 feet wide.
5 feet long.
Okay. This is just a sample.
GAF has a back of the house, and it's fully supported for roofing contractors that participate in the program. And so what makes it integrated is, on this side, you will have, if this is the end of the array or the end of the line of the power shingle, you have a regular general asphalt shingle that integrates right here, as well as on this side.
Okay.
And there's a cover that
So
goes
this
over
is
the
just-
side.
If
One
you go to
strip.
if you Google GAF Energy, you can see all about it. And so there's a cover, and then the inverter's on top of the roof, and they'll go either into the attic or off the roof to the inverter on top of the power box. And then there's a couple other things that I'm not overly familiar with from an electrical side, because I'm more of a roofer than an electrician. But GEF has all the back of the house stuff for roofers to successfully do this.
What's the average life expectancy or
It's
projected?
30 years
30 years. Okay.
Okay.
on this, and so to me,
Which most solar panels, 20.
yes, something like that. These are just as efficient.
And this is not
Yes,
glass. This isn't the glass,
This
and
is-
this isn't making more holes in the roof by adding this.
It's less holes if it's 5. Well,
If
It's-
you
it's-
have nail holes,
Right.
but they're covered up just like a fish scale,
Okay.
that overlap, and so it'll be sealed right here, and so that you can easily remove it and replace it if something like that
versus
happens.
drilling holes and putting
Uh-huh.
silicone that has to be done every couple of
Yeah.
years.
Okay. All right. That is cool.
Yeah, and it's
Now, does this have to be maintained or cleaned? Because like solar panels, you need to maintain and clean them because they'll lose their efficiency.
I would probably clean them once a year,
Okay.
either with a low pressure wash and some sort of a
Detergent.
detergent of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt it at all.
But a lot of people are
I've never seen this.
well.
That's why I thought it was a pretty cool thing. Yeah, Charles needed to share this.
Uh-huh. And I talked to a roofing contractor the other day that said, "Oh, I've heard so many negative things about it, but GAF has ironed out the kinks, and this is the horse to bet on for sure. I'm all in with GAF, and so I commend them for being the first in the market to do this and bring it to market.
And a very smart way of doing it.
And last month I toured their Georgetown facility. They have a facility that makes these out in California,
Okay.
and they built one in Texas. They have one scheduled for North Carolina in the coming years. They already bought the property on it. But when I went to Georgetown to look at this, it's a 500,000 square foot facility.
That's huge.
It is absolutely huge.
500,000 square foot?
Mhm.
That's a big building.
And so they have enough for 8 or 9 assembly lines to work, but only one's working right now. And so, to me, someone at GAF realizes, well, we're going to make an investment in this. This is, at some point, going to be taken off. And I think more and more, it's going to be integrated in re-roofing, 100%.
Question. I know you said composition shingle on the end, but is this laid out like solar panels are? They put it in certain spots on the roof and that's it? Or is this the whole roof?
They try to max out the roof, and so there's Aurora is the name of the computer program that a lot of solar companies use that will map the sun and will tell the person looking at it
How many panels and where to mount them?
and where to mount them and where you get the most sunlight for the
Right.
most efficiency. And so,
Is that the same format with this?
yes.
It is.
So you have to
Okay.
have CAD programmers, CAD guys that
Yeah.
do that too. The solar stuff and look at the roofs.
And GAF will produce you, it's like blueprints. Putting on a residential roof, I can do in my sleep. And that's exactly what we're doing here, but we're adding this. But, they have a whole set of blueprints with everything on it. And so it's really been well thought out from the back of the house.
What about cost-wise?
Cost-wise, it's probably right there with the solar panels.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more expensive, but they have version 2 coming out here in the next couple of years that it'll be like Elon Musk.
The Tesla panel.
That solar shingle. That everything, all the roof shingles will look like this. And so, which I thought was really cool. But
Oh, so
But this is a great investment. If someone, say, for example, we had tremendously good hail in Needville, Madisonville, all around. And so,
like we did last weekend, Charles. Is that
we
where
had
you're
it.
going?
Yeah, that's exactly where
Yeah,
I'm going. And so, if someone's been thinking about solar, and the wife or the husband says, solar panels are so ugly on my roof, but yes, I would like to have some energy savings. My utility bill's $500. We need to do something about it. So if you had the good thing of having an insurance claim, this would be the time to consider having integrated solar on your roof. It'd be nice looking. Your utility bill would go down, and it's a win. I believe this is where it's going. And so,
Now, if people have questions, how can they reach out and connect with you?
my personal cell phone,
There you go.
713-907-5784. We're a small company that I still believe in giving someone an experience of me, the boss, the owner, and that's why I did that. 713-907-5784.
Tell them your tagline, Charles.
Character, commitment, customer service. Triple C. That's how we get in it.
That's right.
Character is the person you're doing business with. Commitment, if it comes out of my mouth or anybody that works for me, no matter
You're backing
how
it up.
faulty it is, we back it up. And customer service, and because I believe in some places it's dead, I don't want it to ever die while I'm working in the roofing business.
That's huge.
There's a lot of companies out there that are trying to train us to accept that service. Hold time 30 minutes, and pick something. It's very frustrating.
Very.
Absolutely. And so, even if you have to leave me a message, the last thing I do at night before I clock out, if you will, is
Return all calls.
all calls.
Oh, that's huge. That is huge. I love it. I love it.
I got a call from my old boss yesterday, and it made my whole day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to share.
And so, back in the day, it was in the early 90s, I got hired in my first official sales job at a company called Dixie Pike. And I kept in contact with my old boss. It was oil field service. And so,
Right.
What's the owner's name of that company? I've done business with them. I can't think of his name off the top.
Jim Durham.
Yeah, I know Jim.
Oh, wow.
No. Well,
It's a small world.
713-796-2021. I saw that number pop up yesterday. I said, man, I know that number. It was Jim Durham. He's going to be 81 here shortly. He still goes to work. And I said, I'm not. So I saw him after I left the company and kept in touch. I sent him a Christmas card, and he brought that up every year, my girls and whatnot, and he really appreciated that. And he knew I was in the roofing business because we talked about that. And so there at Dixie Pike, a roof blew off in a storm. He said, I'm going to go out next week and see. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's cool.
That is it was the coolest thing
Oh.
that guy remembered me. And he made my whole
Wow.
day. And so we had a good conversation. We're going to have a better one next week. But, you
Oh,
know,
that is so much
that
fun.
was always before the age of social media. Like you were talking about, Richard. You know, people calling me on the phone. Can I sell you a CRM? What you doing about this?
Yeah.
A part of my day is inefficient because they pop up on Houston area codes 346-281-713, and I'm a sucker for it every time. No matter who's on the other end, I'll answer it because I think it's someone that wants to do business.
Well, you have to. You don't.
I got to.
I have the same problem.
Yes.
But so anyway, one of the things Dick Pfaff always did, and we talked about it yesterday, is scratch pads. Everywhere we went, I always left a few scratch pads there. Either if it was a machine shop or a fab shop, and
So you're going to have some scratch pads made up?
yeah, and so I did this a long time ago, and it's back here. And so little sticky notes like that, and watermark CCC on it, and that way, if you come in and you don't get to see the decision maker, you leave this with a receptionist, and at least it sits there, and they don't throw something like this on them.
Right.
You know, that actually came about from 3M
Uh-huh.
because a guy had a hard time with his notes for the music at church. And so he worked on it in his spare time at 3M, and 3M put it out there and thought it was, half the people thought it was crazy. Nobody's ever going to use this. But the other half said, no, that's a great idea. And look at where it's at today.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was a guy that was just trying to figure out how to keep his music together at church.
I didn't know that story. That's pretty cool.
It's in a book called Built to Last.
Oh, yeah.
William McKnight was the driving force behind 3M.
Yeah, it's a 3M product.
Yeah,
right there.
it is.
Yeah. Post-it note.
Oh my gosh, that is too cool.
And so I learned a lot from that job. And you know, between now and then, I thought, first time I ever made a professional sales call, I can remember I had a Franklin day planner out, and I was taking notes from this
Yes.
customer, and my hands were shaking. I was so nervous. Well, it's been a long time since then.
Yes.
But
I still write everything down.
yeah,
100%.
I totally agree.
If I write it down, I remember.
That's right.
And I don't see. I know social media will never ever go away, and we have to adapt it like we're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no better way to go, in my opinion, and it's my opinion, is going to someone that buys what you're selling and say, hey, I'm interested in your business. I may not have it right now, but what's it take to get it? And so, and I think people, whether they say it out front, but they subconsciously appreciate that. Because at some point, they're number one, you may not be number one anymore. So
Right.
you better be in that number two spot.
Right. Right. 100%.
It's all about relationships.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pressing the
it's,
flesh is what I call it, putting yourself in front of somebody.
and it's providing that service. You're
Yes.
not there to just sell them a whole new roof.
Yeah.
If there's something else that can be done, you're going to do it.
Let me share something else that I feel is a great accomplishment. Is maybe 15 years ago, I roofed a little house in Missouri City, and the lady and I got to become friends, and I roofed the same house twice.
Wow.
And I think that is so cool. And she and I are friends, and from that lady, she was a hairdresser.
Okay.
And so
Sorry.
Priscilla,
I know. You knew. I knew.
And so,
Uh-huh.
you know, and that's probably one of the best referrals for me is to get to be friends with a hairdresser, because every 45 minutes they get a new person in their chair, and all they do, and the girls
They're
talk. And
Oh, I know this person, or I know that, or I got a resource for you here.
water
and that.
coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Look,
got
those
just
are hot topics. I mean, if they're not insurable, it's got to be replaced. The insurance, wind, hail, deductibles. I mean,
Yes.
you guys are talked about a lot, honestly.
You know what I learned
Yeah.
is that someone asked me to do an assessment on a roof, and it was down in Pearland, and State Farm, who she's done business with, this is going to be a
Claim on them.
and she was trying to get insurance on it.
Okay.
And State Farm wouldn't insure it because of where it was located in a wind zone area, unless it was to the fortified standard, gold standard, meaning and it's the insurance. I forget the acronym, but it's all the insurance companies and some government stuff involved, and they test how to make houses storm-proof, fire-proof, that sort of thing. So that gold standard was, from a roof standpoint, is making sure the decking's nailed in and a sealed deck. And so, a deck is consistent of plywood,
OSB
or something, and you have to seal it all together, and that way.
Is that the felt over it?
It's basically the felt.
Okay.
Nowadays it's synthetic felt, but you can seal it all together where it's monolithic. That way, if shingles blow off and water gets behind the shingle, it'll run out the bottom.
Got
And
it.
that way, it mitigates against interior damage.
Mhm.
And so I always thought that was a great thing. And that's my next step in growing up is to become a fortified provider. And so.
Especially in our area.
And one of my neighbors told me that there's some federal government money that will subsidize a fortified roof, and that's through the federal land bank.
Interesting.
So is that like grant money?
It's grant money, yeah.
Okay.
And so, but going back to my friend that wanted me to do the assessment on the house, the gold standard says we got to put the roof in. The gold standard says you have to have wind resistant, wind rated windows, garage doors, all that sort of thing. So if wind blows the garage door in, or some of the windows in, it'll mitigate the damages. And also, the common vernacular is hurricane straps, and so it has to be strapped from the roof rafters all the way down to the slab. That way,
Wow.
the load goes to the slab, and so that's the gold standard. And in order to get the gold standard on the house, it has to be new construction. It has to be. You have to want
You
to
have
do
to design and build it.
design and build it that way. You can't go buy a property and expect it to be the gold standard. You won't be getting insurance from State Farm.
So isn't there an inspection that they do for the windstorm? And I understand that
Absolutely.
it is $3,000 or $4,000 to get that windstorm inspection, just to get the inspection done.
So
Really? That's a lot of money.
the
Yes.
prices vary, but usually whether the homeowner does it or the roofing contractor does it, it's an independent engineering company that comes out and verifies that the material you're using.
Okay.
The fastening pattern, the main thing is that it's sealed edges along the rake edges. So you just think about it. If a roof is going to blow off, it's going to start
It's going to come under?
It's come from the start at the edges. And so there's a lot of detail with either the fortified standard or windstorm inspection with the edge protection of it. So it has to be sealed very, very good at the edges, because I've seen firsthand that's where
I've
it's
seen lifted shingles. I've seen debris under lifted shingles.
Wow.
I read a lot of inspection reports. I don't know your business, but I know some of
You
it.
see what,
I see some.
yes. But that, you have to make sure, I guess, so this is depending on the area properties in, on if windstorm is a requirement for the properties in that
Yeah,
area.
there's different zonings.
And so I guess you
like
want,
Galveston is wind zone 1,
right.
Right.
and that's a different set of rules there. Wind zone 2, maybe Texas City, something like that.
Up to Rocher and something like
To
that.
Roche, you're on it, and wind zone 3 may be just right south of 610. You're 45.
Okay.
I've been
Okay.
business in all those areas.
Okay.
That's why I'm familiar
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. So then, if you're about to put a property on the market, make sure that, just like flood insurance, the sellers keep that windstorm and that flood in place so it's transferable and it doesn't have to be new.
And I think, if you can afford to do so, and if you're a homeowner that can just afford not to have liability insurance on your house, homeowner's insurance, and you're self-insured, the best way to do a good investment would be this fortified roofing, or the fortified standard. That way, if a hurricane comes, you know you're ready.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of testing on it, so I would encourage everybody to go look at the fortified standard in roofing and building.
I've never heard of it. But that's why we have you here, so we can learn and convey information to the general public out
Exactly.
there. Thank
Wow. That's cool. That's great info.
Yeah.
That's great.
you. Well,
All right.
again, if they want to connect with you, do you guys have any specials? Do you do free roof inspections? I mean, I don't.
So
Just trying to help promote you
basically,
out here to everybody that's watching today.
so thank you for watching. Share this. If you know someone that might be of benefit to it.
Right.
So mention this podcast, and we'll do a repair for you for $100.
Oh, bravo.
One minor repair.
One minor repair.
Not a whole roof, correct?
Not a whole roof.
Not a whole roof. No, you have to
Just
specify.
clarifying.
Or I tell you what, mention this podcast and you need a new roof, we'll discount that roof $2,500.
That's a lot of money.
Ooh, that's substantial, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles.
Yep, especially with everything that just happened last week.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
so let's get the word out there. And if you're a realtor, we will return, if you have an inspection report like Richard's talking about, and I understand what realtors, you can't do things fast enough. We have the technology, we have the CRM that can write you a repair bid for that immediately. And so,
Awesome.
and we can turn it around in an hour.
Awesome.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
can explain to people the different shingles and why you want to go with this one and that one and how it benefits the property.
Even if we can just maintain it versus replace it
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool, Charles.
I look forward to coming
what
back.
what about your website? How to get
www.CCC360.com.
perfect.
Give
Perfect.
Charles and his crew a call. He'd love to come out and work with you and help you.
Thank you, Charles.
Well, it's so good to be here.
Lots of good info.
right.
I didn't know a lot of it, so thank you.
That's why we do it.
That's right.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
I just did a podcast.